You're not gonna open it?
Yeah, open. That's why I want to go. Right. With that, Amadium, which means to stand. Sar, Wapanya Hakudam, which means to turn and face Jerusalem, which is the east. All right. And we're going to start with the Lord's Prayer in the ancient Hebrew.
Abano.
Abano.
Shabbat Shabbat.
Shabbat Shabbat.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakaka.
Malakaka.
Tabaa.
Tabaa.
Zag.
Zaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Ratza.
Ratza.
Kowa.
Kawa.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashman.
Bashman.
Lutolana.
Nadolanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kao.
Kao.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalaka.
Salakna.
Kabawatna.
Kawabakna.
Wasalaka.
Kasalakna.
Kawathina.
Kawabakna.
Wala.
Wala.
Tabi'ana.
Tabi'ayna.
Wasalun.
Vasayawan.
Ball.
Abal.
Outside.
Abashai Nawa.
Bayan.
Bayan.
Right.
Right.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Lakab.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Amalakwa.
Pala.
Wala.
Watapara.
Watapara.
I love you.
I love you. And in English, our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done
Thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily
our
bread,
daily bread.
and forgive us our debts
Give us our
as
debts
we forgive our debtors,
as we forgive our debtors.
and lead us not
And lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom
and the power,
and the power
and the glory
and the glory
forever.
forever.
So be it.
Be it. This is Hakah in the Lashon Kodesh. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh.
Yahushua.
Kashah.
Babushah.
Lutolana.
Nadolanawa.
Hakah.
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 Ba'apa'ah.
Darapa'ah.
Kamakala.
Kamakala.
Wakamarawah.
Kalmalawa.
Hakah.
Hakah.
Latahar.
Latahar.
Hamatazariah.
Hamatazariah.
Hakah.
Hakah.
Lahakwi.
Hakwil.
Hamathi.
Hamathium.
Hakah.
Hakah.
Arukawa.
Arukawa.
Hatama'ala.
Atamahala.
Lagarashon.
Lagarashon.
Bahashum.
Bahashum.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Tawad.
Water. Come on. And now in the English. Lord,
Lord.
in the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua.
please give us the power.
Please give us the
The
power.
power to heal
Power to heal.
all manner of sickness
All manner of sickness.
and all manner of disease.
All manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
Power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. It's the blessings prayer in the Lashon Kodesh. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Why Yahushua?
Why Yahushua?
Woman Yaka'ala.
Woman Yaka'ala.
Wa Alahai.
Wa Alahai.
Matazad Ya'ah.
Matazad Ya'ah.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Ha Alawap.
Alawapim.
Hasaranya.
Asaranya.
Patazayanya.
Patazayanyam.
Hakal Yayam.
Achal Yalyam.
What?
Wahakwanyam.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Bahasham.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Tawad.
The water. Come on. And now in the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yohanan.
Commanding General Yohanan.
The general.
The general.
The captain.
The captain.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
Troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. The book of Psalms, chapter 121 in the last one for that. Aisha.
Asha.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Alfaharia.
Ahaharia.
Mahayan.
Ma'ayan.
Yaba'a.
Yaba'a.
Azari.
Azaria.
Azari.
Azaria.
Ma'an.
Ma'ayin.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shamayam.
Shamayam.
Wa'aratza.
Wa'arataza.
Ayatan.
Ayatan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Regalka.
Regalka.
Ayanawam.
Ayanawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Hadna.
Hadna.
La'a.
La'a.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Walala.
Wala'a.
Yayashan.
Yayashan.
Shawamar.
Shawamar.
Yashar.
Yasharala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamar.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazal.
Tazalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamyamka.
Yamyanka.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La Yakaka.
La'ayakaka.
Wayarak.
Wayarak.
Wala Yala.
Walayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamarka.
Kalra.
Kalrai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Atnapashka.
Athnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Tazaatka.
Tazaatka.
Wapsley. Wabaaka.
Wabawaaka.
Mayata.
Mayata.
Wa'ada Wala.
Wa'ida Walam. Psalm 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee,
He that keepeth
he
thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yasharala
he that keepeth Yahshua
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade
Yahweh is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
Scoot that way a little bit.
This is the book. This is the book Psalms, chapter 83, in the Lashon Kodash. Alahaya,
Alahai,
Adam Yalaka,
Adam Yalaka,
Alta Karash,
Atarash,
Wa'ata Shakwat,
Wa'ata Shakwat,
Al,
Al,
Kayahana,
Hayahana,
Awayabyaka,
Awa Yabyaka,
Yahamayawan,
Yahamaya 1,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al Amaka,
Alaimaka,
Yariyamwa,
Yairayamwa,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayata,
Wayata,
Ya'at Tazawat,
Yai to the Wa,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Alta Zapawanyaka,
Amaru,
Amarwa,
Kawa,
Lakawa,
when they cut you down,
Wanakakadam,
Begali,
Lagalia,
Wala Yazakar,
Walai is a car,
Sham Yashal,
Sham Yasharala,
I would die,
I would die,
Kaya,
Kaya,
no I Tazawat,
now I tell the Wa,
Laba,
Lama,
Kawa,
Yakatwa,
Ayaka,
Alyaka,
Barya,
Barya,
Yakarathwa,
Yakaratwa,
Alahaya,
Alahalia,
Ahalia,
Alahalia, Alawam,
Wayashamai,
Wayashamayala,
Mawaba,
Mawaba,
Wagari,
Wahagarian,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wamawan,
Waimawan,
Wamalak,
Waimalak,
Halashat,
Halashat,
Amyashab,
Abiyashabia,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gamashawar,
Gamashawar,
Alawa,
Nalawa,
Ama,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zarawat,
Zarawai,
Labani Lawat,
Labanjalawat,
Salah,
Salat,
Ashalaham,
Aisha Laham,
Kamadia,
Kamadia,
Sayasara,
Kasayasara,
Kayabya,
Hayagya,
Barakar,
Banakal,
Koyashwa,
Wayashwan,
Nashabab,
Nashamarwa,
Yandara,
Mayandara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Dama,
Daman,
Larama,
La'alama,
Shaitamwa,
Shaitamwa,
Nadia Mawa,
Dayawa,
Kaira,
Kaira,
Wakazabak,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabak,
Wakazaba,
Wakatazalmanai,
Wakatazalmanai,
Kanasai Kamu,
Kaunasai Kawa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amaru,
Amarwa,
Nayarash,
Nairashta,
Malawa,
Lanawa,
Ah, Nahawa,
Na'awa,
Alahaya,
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 Shaitamwa,
Shaitamwa,
Kagagala,
Kagalgala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapani Rakah,
Lapanyara Pa,
Kash,
Ash,
Tabair,
Tabaira,
Yair,
Yaira,
Wakalhaba,
Wakalahaba,
Talahat,
Talahat,
Ariyam,
Ariyam,
Khan,
Khan, Tawadatma,
Basairika,
Basairika,
Obasa,
Babasa,
Bapafka,
Bapaska,
Tabahalam,
Kabahalam,
Bala,
Malaa,
Panyaham,
Panyahum,
Palawan,
Palawan,
Wayabapashwa,
Wayabakwashwa,
Shubka,
Shimka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashwa,
Yabashwa,
Wayabahawa,
Wayabahalwa,
Aya,
Ayai,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayapaparwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadaagwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Kayatha,
Hayatha,
Shubka,
Shimka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Babad,
the vodka,
Al Yawan,
Al Yawan,
Alkama Arat,
Alcohol, Arataza. Psalm chapter 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence. Oh, go ahead.
Keep not thy silence.
Oh, Yahweh.
Oh, Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
Oh, Yahweh.
Oh, Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thy enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult,
And they that hate thee
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
I lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken back the counsel
against thy people.
against thy people
And consulted
and consulted
against thy hidden one.
against thy hidden one.
They have said,
and have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a nation.
from being a nation,
That the name of Yahshua
for the name of Yahshua
may be no more remembered.
maybe no more in remembrance.
They have consulted together
But they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They're confederate against thee,
tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Ashur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them
do unto them
as unto the Midianites,
as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
as the brook of Kisan,
as the brook of Kassan,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles
Made the nobles
like Oreb
like Oreb,
and like Zeid.
and like Zed,
Yea,
yea,
all their princes as the Bob
all the princes as Abba,
and as Amunah,
and as Amunah,
who said,
who said,
let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of God in possession.
the house of God in possession.
Oh, Yahweh,
Oh, Yahweh,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as a stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame set the mountains on fire.
and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy tempest,
with thy tempest,
and make them afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm,
Fill their faces with shame,
fill the face with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
they may seek thy name.
Oh, Yahweh,
Oh, Yahweh,
let them be confounded
let them be confounded,
and troubled forever.
trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
art the most high
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
All right, that, sorry. Turn the face in front. And go ahead and set the scroll down.
Oh, hold on. Oh, shoot.
There we go. All right, with that, Mashabia. Oh, blow the horn, blow the horn. With that, Mashabia. Shalom, Israel. How about Shemir Shabrakatah? To all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Athamba Shemir Ashai to all the sisters. This is Isupk. Started out in West 125th Street, Harlem, New York in 1969. We're under commanding General Yohanan, here to teach the truth of the Bible. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites according to the scriptures. Today is the Sabbath service, right? That being Saturday, the seventh day of the week, right? What we do is we come into the Bible and starting with the Torah, you know what I'm saying, reading the Old Testament in chronological order. What we do is we break down and get into the great details of you know what I'm saying, those first books of the Bible. And we're going to continue to go all the way to Malachi. You know what I'm saying? Because the entire Old Testament was written in Hebrew. And Hebrew is a buzzword these days. You're seeing Hebrew talked about on the news with the Israeli Gaza Palestinian war going on. Hebrew being talked about on viral videos going across the internet. Captain Tazariak out there representing the Isupk and the Commanding General Yohanan doing an excellent job. You have buzzwords going on right now about Black Hebrew Israelites on the news because Israel has been attacked by a Palestinian terrorist. One of our schools got hit by a car, or somebody backed deliberately into a building owned by us that was, made headlines on the news. You understand? So words going out about what our movement is, what it is that we're about. But what people tend to flock towards are the videos online of us with the fiery teaching out in the streets, which is an essential part of what we do. And it's something that we will always do until Christ comes back. You understand? It's our duty to do those things. Also, our duty to serve the Lord. Testament that we'll individually go over to talk about having the Sabbath service, right? Sabbath service is an essential part of what makes us separate from everybody else. And in doing so, we come back to our culture, we come back to our language, and we read in the Hebrew, but we translate it in real time for you to ancient Hebrew. So when we go into the Bible to read the Hebrew, we're reading the ancient, most original version of it while reading a modern version of it, which is very difficult to do. So you got brothers that come in and learn how to read and write in Hebrew, how to say the prayers, and to do this as a service to the Most High, but also for an example for Israel to see on how we're supposed to serve the Lord, And going back to the ancient days, you got to dress, we're dressed in clothes that looks like it's from an ancient time, not modern time. But because our mindset is from an ancient era that we're revitalizing amongst Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, it may seem strange. But we're, of course, have all of the, what's the phrase? The best intentions in mind for training and teaching our people that this is what our society is going to look like upon Christ's return. You understand? And getting back to those customs, getting back to the language. And so we're going to go into the book of Genesis chapter 40, where we left off last week, where Joseph had been dealing with some people that he was in charge of in the prison where he was in Egypt, right? And then the story pertaining to those prisoners that he had came up with is a very important part of Israel's history because of what it leads to. Because these were people that were right there with the Pharaoh of Egypt. You understand? And so it's important to see this because we have to understand exactly what our power is as a nation of people. And Joseph is demonstrating that in the most humble, long-suffering way possible. You understand? Never doing anything wrong, but always wrong happening to him. And he took that in stride and continued to have the right mentality about the situations that he went through. And we're going to see how it plays out for him once it's all said and done. So let's go ahead and open up the Bible Hub app that you could get for free on your Android phone or your iOS device. You could download it in the in your app store, so you can follow along with us. You go to the Bible Hub app, and then you type in, or you don't type in, you just clean here, and you can select the book, chapter, and verse that we're on. We're going to be on Genesis chapter 40, and we're going to start at verse 15. We're going to read all the way to the end of the chapter because it ends at 23, I believe. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead and start at verse 15.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 15. Kaya. Kaya. Gan. Naba. Ganab. God. Nabata. Ya. Ganabatia. Ma'arisha. Maratza. Abaram. Abaram.
Wait, can I see the folder?
The folder.
Is it in here?
The alphabet.
Are you looking for the
Yeah.
alphabet?
God, what happened to her?
It might be in the other folder.
Oh, it's not in mine. Oh, yeah, it's not mine.
There was another folder. Yo, you keep going. Keep going.
Abaram. And also.
And also,
Yeah. Wakama.
oh damn,
Anha. La'a.
there it is.
La'a,
Where are you at?
La'a, not.
Oh, I got you. No.
Aisha, Yata,
Ashiyathia.
Yathia, Mahawa, Ma'a,
Mawa'a.
Mawa'a, Kaya, Shamwa, Ataya, Babawa,
Okay.
Ra,
Baba War.
Babawar.
From verse 15.
Verse 16. Waya, Yara, Shara,
Sure.
Shar, Ha, Kayum, Kaya, Tawaba,
No, that's Tawar.
Tawab,
Good. We use it all the time.
Tawab, Tar,
Pathar.
Tar,
Yeah, Pathar.
Wayam, Mara,
Wayamar.
Wayamar, Al,
Yeah.
Yawasa,
Okay.
Apat, Anaya,
Okay.
Bahalawa, Yamaim, Maya,
Bakar.
Baka,
Bakalwan.
Bakalawam,
Yeah.
Bakalawam, Waka, Hanaha, Shab, Lash, Shaka,
Shala Shah.
Sha-
Shala.
Shala,
Shala. Shalash.
Shalash. So,
Yeah. Right. Number 3 is Shalash, right?
Yeah.
Shalash. Yeah, I said it right. Shalash.
Salaya,
Aliyah. Oh, yeah, Salaya. Yeah.
Salaya, Korea,
Korea.
Korea, Ayla, Ashia. Verse 17. Wapasa,
Babasal.
Wapasa, Hai, Alawa,
Aliyawan.
I, Alawan, Macaw, Macaw, Parayam, Parai, Paraiha, Ma'aishaha,
Okay.
Apaha,
Yeah.
Wahai, Wapa,
Why? It's like, Wahai Wap.
Wahai Wapa,
What?
Ka, Akam,
Atham.
Tam, Mawa,
Man.
Hasa, Hasa,
Hassan.
Hasa,
Okay.
Maya, Ma'ala, Ra'ashai,
Rashiyat.
Rashiyah. Verse 18. Waya'ain wa
Wayaan.
Waya'an Yawasa
Yawasa.
Yawasap Wayamar Sakha
Okay.
Power Kata Banawa Shalachat
Shalasha.
Shalashath Khasa La'aimu
Hasalayam.
Hasalayam Shalashata
Shalasha.
Shalashath Waim Mawam
Yamayam.
Yamayam Hum. Verse 19. But I wada
By what?
by a word Shalashata
Shalasha.
Shalashath Yamayam
Hmm.
Yasha Haraiha Ta Ra'ashaka
Rashak.
Rashak Ma'ai Mawaka
Maliyak.
Maliak Wata Laha
Wathala.
Matala Awa Taka
Awathak.
Awatak Ayla Aisha
Eroticism.
Aratza Waka
Okay.
Awa
Okay.
Ata
Okay.
Basha Raka
Basharak.
Basharak Ma'ai Mawa
Maliyak.
Maliak. Verse 20. Wayaha Baya Wam
Yeah, by one. Okay.
Bayawam Hasha Hasha Washa
No. Hashalayashai.
Hashaya Lashai
I said it. Remember.
Yawam Halad
Halada.
Haladat Alda Pa Ra Aicha Waya Aisha Masha Tacha Lakal
Mashata. Ka.
Lakal I'm Badawa
No. Abadiyahu.
Abadiyahu. Wayasha. Da. Rasha. Shah. Hamasha. Kwa ayam.
Okay.
Wa'ata. Ra'asha. Shar. Ha'a. Upon. Matawaka.
Go.
Aida wa. Aida. Iwa.
Abadiyahu.
Abadiyawa. Verse 21. Wa Aishba. Ata. Shar. Hamasha. Hamasha. Kwayam. Ila. Masha. Kwa Hawa.
What's on
Wa
you?
Aida. His cup bearership.
The cup. Cup.
His cup bearership.
Oh, cup bearers. Okay, gotcha. Mashakwatao. That's like Mashakwahao.
Shakwaham. Waya. Yatawa.
Wayathao.
Wayatao.
Wayathan.
Bayatan. Haka. Wa Sha.
Kawas.
Kawash. Allah. Ka'a.
Ka.
Ka. Kara'ayaka. Verse 22.
There's only 2 verses left, so I mean,
Wa. Wa'ata. Shah. Ha'apanyam. Talaha. Ka'ashar. Kathara. Laham. Wayasap.
y'all what's up?
Yawasap.
Hey.
It's 23. Wa'ala. Zakara.
Zakar.
Shakar. Shafra.
Shah.
Shar. Hamashah.
Hamashakwine.
Hamashakwam.
Kwayam.
Kwayam. Abda.
Ath.
Ath. Iwasap.
Y'all what's up?
Yawasap.
Hey.
Wayasha. Ha. Taha.
Wayashakakha. Wayashakakha.
Wayasha. Ka.
Oh.
Tahao.
That was the end of that chapter. I ain't even.
All right, good. That's the end of it.
How?
So now we're going to go back into English. Genesis 40, verse 15. Now, again, what we were reading in the previous verses in this chapter, Joseph had been basically interpreting. He's in the middle of interpreting a dream for 2 men that were thrown into prison by the Pharaoh. It was his chief butler and his chief baker, right? So something happened that they had to take all of the blame for, and so they got thrown into the jail. And so Joseph is telling them about the dreams that they had because they both had separate dreams on the same night. And Joseph, being the leader of the quartermaster of that part of the prison, decided to break down their dreams to them. He had told the first one. Let me see. He had just got through telling the butler that he was going to be put back in his place as the right hand man of the Pharaoh. And what even is a butler? Let me actually look that up because it's an interesting. We know a butler as someone that brings food, right? That's what it's supposed to mean. Definition of butler is to give to drink. Wait, is that really the right word? Let me see. Butler. To give to drink, to cause to drink, something like that. We know what a butler is somebody that's like a servant, basically. Servant to the Pharaoh. All right, now go ahead and read verse 15.
Okay. The book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 15. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream.
Hold on, where you at? 40 and 15. 40 and 15.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 15. For indeed, I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews. And here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon.
Yeah, just like how the butler was wrongfully put into the prison. Joseph not only broke down his dream, but told him, remember me and make sure that you try to get me out of here. You know what I mean? It was like, I'm doing you a solid. Return that favor, man. You know what I mean? What he's saying is, I'm not supposed to even be here. I'm not guilty of any crime or anything like that. I was stolen out from my land, and without going into great detail, we know how that was because of his brothers selling him to the Arabs, who then sold him to the Egyptian that he ended up living in the house with. And then on top of that, it was the Egyptian's wife that tried to holler at Joseph, and Joseph, being a just man, did not lay with her, but got thrown into prison off of being convicted that he was trying to get with her by that lying woman. So Joseph is telling him his case. He's like, look, I ain't supposed to be here either. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 16. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head.
So the baker was there for this conversation that Joseph was having with the butler. And now the baker was hoping that he can get an interpretation of his dream so that he could understand what was going on. So he had a dream where he had these 3 baskets on his head. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And in the uppermost basket, there was in all manner baked meats for Pharaoh.
Okay.
And the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head.
So he's having a different dream. In his dream, there's birds that are eating out of this basket of meat that is sitting on his head in his dream.
Damn.
Go ahead.
Verse 18. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 baskets are 3 days.
Right. So there's 3 days. Imagine there's 3 baskets on his head. Each of them represent a day. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree.
Damn. So he's going to die. Imagine someone telling you about your death. You know what I'm saying? In a dream that you had and breaking it down. See, this is the thing, though. Sometimes some people will get dreams about their own death. Now, of course, it would take an Israelite to break that dream down so that they can understand the severity of what it is that they're being shown. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people really let dreams eat them up. We went into did we go into it last time? No, we didn't get the chance to. I'm gonna do it now. Let me show you this. Get me, I have to get this. Ecclesiastes chapter 34 and verse 1. This goes right along with this because a lot of time, and here's the thing, everybody wants to think that they're special. everybody wants to think that their dreams are defined, given by the Most High, that it means that their life is going to be prosperous. But we can't allow ourselves to let things like that really turn the tide of what decisions we're going to make in our lives, right? Because in America is the land of the dreams, right? Supposedly, like America's slogan is talking about dreams. You know what I'm saying? And what we have to understand is that is not something that is to be taken lightly, because we have dreams all the time. People out here, they think that this is some kind of game that's being played. They'll try to say that everything that they have going on in their life is important, and the ambitions that they have, or what needs to become a reality, right? Like, you ever have a dream about, like, oh, you had this fancy house, this person in your life, this significant other, this family of children. These are things that your mind comes up with, but you can't always lock into them. Okay? Because again, what we're seeing in this story right here, we're seeing a dream being interpreted by Joseph, who is a righteous man. It takes a righteous man to understand what somebody's dream really is. But not every dream is going to be important. So I want to make sure that y'all understand that when we read this in the scriptures, that it's pertaining to a story that the Most High wants us to understand. That doesn't mean that every dream that you've ever had is super important, that it means that something's going to happen in your life just because you dreamt it. So I want to make sure that we check that spirit that comes across everybody's mind right at the gate by going to this scripture right here. Ecclesiasticus chapter 34 and verse 1. Read that.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 34 and verse 1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
Whoa. It says the hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false. Go ahead.
And dreams lift up fools.
And dreams do what?
Lift up fools.
So somebody that is without understanding, somebody that hasn't actually learned how to be righteous, somebody that wasn't taught, and sometimes it's not even your fault. You weren't raised with righteousness. A lot of people, like most people in the Israelite community, they're not raised in the truth, let alone in the Isupk, where they're going to get the most efficient nourishment of understanding that comes from wisdom and having the ability to duplicate the wisdom that they've learned and experiences in their lives, right? But somebody without that, they are going to lock into a dream, and it's going to let them puff themselves up. And that's something that we have to avoid. Now, again, one of the reasons why Israel is so effective at this is because we're not in that high status in society. Like when we see multiple times throughout the scriptures, it'd be a king, somebody of high stature, somebody of previously high stature that was having a dream and bringing it to their attention because they get troubled by it, right? And so in that same sense, if it were ever to happen to you, it would be best for you to not try to interpret it yourself, but to go and seek counsel over it, right? Because the person that is going to be in charge of your spirit, meaning the person that is looking out for your best interest with being righteous and being somebody in the truth, that they're going to be able to give you some guidance based off of what they understand and what they can see in you. And sometimes you're not able to admit or see things that you see in yourself. So when you try to interpret your own dream, it is vain. It is not wise to do so. And then sometimes that's why it says dreams lift up fools, because it starts to make people prideful. You understand? Give me verse 2.
Verse 2. Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow.
Damn. Catches at a shadow. Can you catch your shadow? You think you can catch? No, because it's not something that's physical that you're able to actually obtain, right? It's like a dog chasing its tail. It's like his body is made to where he can't really reach it, right? So he's going to keep trying to spin around in a circle. That's no different than you trying to chase dreams that are not necessarily materialized. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Okay. And followeth after the wind.
You can't keep track of where the wind is blowing because you can't really see where it's going. Unless you see something in the wind that's being blown like a leaf, but you're chasing after something that's not actually there. That's what it's saying. Go ahead.
Verse 3. The vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another.
Yeah, this is heavy. The vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another. Go ahead.
even as the likeness of a face to a face.
Even as the likeness of a face to a face. You could actually, in your dream, you can visualize somebody that you know in real life. You could visualize somebody that you've never even met, that you've never even seen before. You can visualize a room and what's in the room and the things, the objects in the room, and your mind just creates a scenario that you may think is real when it's not actually real. It says that the vision of a dream is the resemblance of one thing to another. Now you have to look at the other side of the coin because we're thinking about dreams, but this also applies to nightmares as well, because nightmares are also something that resembles something that either exists or doesn't exist, but it's not actually something that does exist. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
I think I remember General Muhammad speaking something about like how your brain like it's like tricks or something, or like you know how you like people have deja vu or something. Like he was saying, like I think like how your brain tricks you or something. It just makes up stuff. It likes to make up stuff and stuff.
That's a good point. I want to bring that to this point because modern day example of that is like the AI generation. We were just talking about that. We were making thumbnails using that. It's almost like the AI is basically a computation of I wouldn't maybe not know so much random, but like an educated guess of what something should look like, the background, the foreground, the main person in the picture, that kind of stuff. So AI will do that. Well, your brain is a supercomputer. Did you know that 1 gram of your brain is the equivalent of 145 trillion computational, what do you call it? Computational, like it's basically the equivalent of like 1.5 trillion computers.
Oh, true.
1 gram of your brain, yeah. So what your brain is able to create is something that's so realistic. The graphics are better than any video game or any CGI that Esau uses for his movies. It's better than any computer. It's better than any modern day computer or even quantum computer that they're trying to work on now. Matter of fact, Esau understands that so much that because computers can't even accelerate faster than they are now, he wants to go and he wants to make quantum computation that uses actual brain matter. And that's where things get even more blasphemous with him trying to play God, because he's trying to make things in his own image. He's trying to make human beings in their own image by making AI and things like that. Well, guess what? Your brain is actually so much more higher, more complicated and engineered to perfection, so much so that it'll even trick you into thinking that what you're imagining is real. It's not. It's a dream. Only time it matters is if it's written about in the scriptures, or if it's broken down by a prophet of the Most High, as we see in our history. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, because dreams lift up fools. Read verse 3 again.
Okay. The vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to a face.
Even as the likeness of a face to a face. This is heavy too, because that's the thing. A lot of times you're dreaming about a fine woman that you're laying next to you. You're dreaming about that face. That scenario does not exist. Make it exist in your reality. Make sure she's an Israelite, not a heathen. You know what I'm saying? Make that your reality. Stop letting dreams let you enjoy your life when there's an actual life that needs to be enjoyed. That's no different than you wanting to play video games all the damn time, and that's the only thing that you got, and that's where your joy and passion in your life comes from. It comes from something that's simulated and not real, right? You can't let that detach you from the reality that we actually live in. It's not good for your mind to overindulge in anything, let alone that being one of those things. Now give me verse 4.
Verse 4. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed?
Damn. That's kind of, it almost is a slap in the face, because it's telling you that it's almost like as if dreams are unclean. Not that you're not allowed to have them, but that you're not supposed to look at it as something that's the end all be all. Go ahead.
And from that thing which is false, what truth can come?
So why is it unclean? Because it's false. You understand? Dreams lift up fools. That's something that I brought this to our attention because we're reading the story about dreams in the book of Genesis when Joseph is interpreting people's dreams. But we have to keep ourselves in check, because we start to get puffed up when we think that our dreams are sent by the Most High, like as if we're on some type of level. We're in hell. Well, that's where we're at right now. What the heck do we? Why are we thinking that we're on some type of level? All right. Well, we're reading about Joseph and what he's doing and how it's pertaining to Israel actually becoming a nation. That's actually important. What's not important is you getting a promotion at a job and being successful in America and having the American dream. That's not what this experience is designed for. This experience is designed so that you're pushed to the physical limit. To where when you think that your job as an Israelite, especially in the truth of having to go to work and then go to camp and then practice and then teach and study, when that becomes overwhelming to you, you have to dive more into the truth. Because what happens is you start to serve a different master by wanting to make your experience more comfortable. When has the Most High ever had any of our priests, any of our important people in the scriptures go through something and then become more comfortable? It was always them in physical duress, like David under Saul was put into physical duress so he could learn how not to rule from what Saul was going through. You know what I'm saying? Joseph being put under, other nations and learning how to rule, but actually having to go through being in prison and being a servant and all these different things before he can finally get to the end result of him actually, succeeding. We have to have that same mentality when it comes to the kingdom of heaven, because until we're there, we cannot find this place as a place of rest. As difficult as that sounds, because we have to give up more and more of ourselves every single day, we can't allow dreams to try to pull us away from our real priorities that are actually real. Go ahead, Copy.
I was gonna say something because you had said about about like dreams being fake and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like our professor, like Esau, he like really actually fantasized, like he is obsessed with making dreams real. Like, have you ever seen Inception? The movie
Yeah,
Inception?
I remember Inception.
Yeah, like he tries to make these dreams like real. Like, and you know how those people were like sleeping on those beds trying to like stay in a dream?
It's like the Matrix, right?
Yeah,
They're all in
yeah,
the pods
Matrix,
connected to the simulation. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
That's all about control. Because if they can control the perception of reality, then they feel like they can control actual reality. Right. And that's really what it comes down to is, are we being deceived into following after a false reality? Or are we able to look at the world through a biblical lens and actually see it for what it is? And then that's what gives us the ability to make better decisions in life, right? Those are the things that'll help you, ignore the fast food commercials that are going to keep you wanting to go eat the wrong foods. Ignore the pornography that you see on those ads that pop up on your phone, because they're trying to get your reality to make you focus on what's not righteous and what is unclean. And so what's going on is a war. You're at war when you have these things going on. Last part. Give me verse 6.
Verse 6. If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them.
That's heavy right there. That's how you know. If they be not sent by the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them. So how would you know that it's sent from the Most High in that case? That's a different class altogether. What I was going to say though is that in this particular case, the Most High sent visions to those men, because it eventually leads to the Most High sending more visions to other people like Pharaoh, which would then give Joseph the chance to do what? To prove himself once again, because he's proving himself right here that he has the skill that nobody else has. Do you see what I'm saying? That we have a skill as an Israelite, as priests, to understand things because we understand things that are true. We know the Bible is true. So when we know the Bible and its prophecies and its history and its dark sayings and its wise sayings and all those different things, then we know that what what we can tear apart from somebody's dream, we won't do it to ourselves, even if we have that kind of ability. You understand? Because remember, Joseph had a dream himself. Remember? Joseph was the one that, like, this whole entire scenario about Israel coming together started from the jealousy of these brothers from what Joseph's dream was telling them. They were threatened by what someone's dream was. And so Joseph obviously had some affiliation with dreams even before he broke down these dreams right here that these men had, right? And so again, the scripture says, if they are not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them. And always seek counsel if there's ever any kind of confusion that you may have or any experience that you have, whether it be conscious or unconscious. All right, you're gonna go. What's up?
So if we have dreams that are sent from the Most High, you remember, you know the dreams that I have, right? And like they get broken down by Cap or somebody in the school. Like, do I pursue that, or
if it makes sense biblically, then they'll tell you if it's something that means something. You know what I mean?
But it meant they meant something. So like, do I look for it, or do I just like, okay, I understand and keep it moving?
Well, is Joseph always talking about him ruling over his brothers? But he knows that in the back of his mind that very well could be what ends up happening, right?
Yeah. So still like, don't forget it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I would say when it says set not thy heart upon them, it's saying that if it's not sent from the Most High, so who's going to determine whether or not it's sent from the Most High is the men that the Most High put to watch over us. You understand? So you can set your heart on something that is sent from the Lord, because he's saying if it's not sent from the Lord, then that's when you don't set your heart upon it. You understand? Sometimes those are the things that keep us going. Those are the kind of things that give you the drive to, okay, this is the destination I need to get to. I'm going to make sure that I get to that destination. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to move my schedule around so that I can do this. And sometimes that very same thing could be the driving factor that helps you get there. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that this is very well could be the end result. You know what I'm saying? So well, we're gonna see what happened with this guy here, because this was the baker. It was verse 17. We was on verse 18. Read verse 18 again.
This is book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Verse 19. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee.
Dang it, that's the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's very descriptive. That's like a scene from like Saw. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's gruesome right there. You talking about birds? Like, he had a dream of something being eaten off of his head, right? Foods. Then he come to find out that the meat that those birds were picking off of was his own head, his own flesh. You know what I'm saying? It's a scary thought, but that's what his future is. And he's being told his future by Joseph, who again is an Israelite because he's from the sons of Jacob. And so he has the ability that nobody else has, because you are not going to go to any other nation for a breakdown of a vision. You're not going to heed into any other nation for a breakdown of things, because again, their interpretations of a dream are based off of lies and things that don't exist, because their entire knowledge base is not involved around the Bible, which is the source of truth. That's why the scripture says in Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them, meaning there is no truth in them. So like the scripture was saying, you can't derive something truthful from something that's a lie. And so it has to be an Israelite that breaks down the scriptures, because we're the only ones that can open up the seals of this book and actually use the book to break down what people's visions are, what people's dreams are. And we see that time and again from Daniel to Joseph, and you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. So that's why we have to We have to understand that this right here, this is the result of what this man's life is going to end like. And let's see if it actually happened. Keep going.
Verse 20. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday.
Hold up. There goes that word, birthday. Who celebrated birthdays in the Bible? Read that again.
And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday.
Now, obviously, this wasn't Pharaoh's literal day of birth, meaning that wasn't his year one, because he's not a little baby. He's a grown person, right? So what is this telling you? This is telling you that birthdays were celebrated by the other nations. There's only 2 times I believe that the word birthday is even used in the Bible. If I look it up, Pharaoh's birthday, Herod's birthday, Herod, which was the Roman king. Damn, that's crazy. You know who? So you know who actually has birthdays? Our enemies. That's their custom. That's their culture. That's not true. That's false. That's satanic. You understand? Because you're never going to read in the Bible about some kind of annual birthday being celebrated by anybody in the Bible. And so people think that we're crazy. I was talking to somebody, at work. And I was like, I don't even really care about birthdays. I don't even celebrate birthdays. And they asked me why. And I said, well, you're going to think I'm weird if I tell you. But here it is. I showed them in the Bible. I looked up birthday. I'm like, I looked up birthday and I'm like, okay, so who celebrated birthdays in the Bible? Anybody? Did Jesus? Did Joseph? Did David? No, it was the Pharaoh and King Herod. That's a birthday scripture right there. If you ever had somebody that tries, how come you don't celebrate birthday? Because I'm not a Pharaoh. Because I'm not Herod. Because I'm not a Greek or a Roman or an Egyptian. I'm an Israelite. You understand? Read that verse again.
Verse 20. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butlers and of the chief baker among his servants.
Yeah, he said he lifted up the head. What does that mean? Because they're not talking about actually lifting their head off. And that's why I didn't want you to get confused when it says that in verse 19. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, shall hang thee on a tree. Does that mean that he's taking his head off in that verse?
In that verse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that verse, yeah. But right here it says, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. So don't get those two confused.
Okay.
Because he says the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker. So what's that saying? What does lifted up the head mean? Meaning put them back into a position of authority.
You put him back into his spot.
That's why when we read in the Psalm 83 where it says that they that hate thee have lifted up the head, what does that mean? That they've taken over the earth. They've been put back in authority. You see that?
Okay.
So Pharaoh lifted up the head of the baker and of the butler to give them another try. Well, at least to bring them out of the jailhouse, so to speak. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 21. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand.
Mm-hmm. So that's what it was. So again, butlership means to bring drinks. Cupbearer. There it is. Cupbearer. I guess it's specific to drinks. Yeah, I'm looking up shakwa, which means to give to drink, or basically, and then that word we just read, which was butlership. Mashakwa is cupbearer. So he was like the one in charge of making sure the Pharaoh had, the best quality drink. You know what I'm saying? And then what would be the baker? The baker's job was to make sure that he had the best quality food to go with the drink. All right. What's up, Capiar?
So hold on, is it like pretty much saying he tried to poison him, or his drink just wasn't too good?
Yeah, like maybe perhaps I can't assume. But what would be a reason for you to fire your chef?
Drinks it.
Or fire your bartender. Basically.
If they're trying to poison me?
If you got food poisoning, you know what I'm saying? Something didn't go right. Maybe the food was not good. Maybe the drink tasted like crap, right?
But no,
maybe he got sick. Well, you're just like I said, it's an assumption to say that because it doesn't specify, because that's not the important part of what this chapter is talking about. The important part is
Joseph's
that
dream.
the interpretation of the dreams that Joseph gave these two people were correct. That's the important thing. Go ahead.
I have a question.
What's up?
So just to be clear, he gave the authority back to the two people that he put in jail, right? Both of them, they got their authority back, right?
Well, it says that's why. So when it says the Pharaoh shall lift up thy head from off. No, verse 20. It says that he lifted up the head of the chief of the butler and of the chief baker among his servants. So that's talking about them being brought. Like imagine you were in jail, and then you're now back in the Pharaoh's like house.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're there for good or bad, you're still lifted up. It's like you being invited to the White House. That's you having your head lifted up. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know what you're going to the White House for. You might be going to the White House to get scrutinized or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And interrogated. But I'm just giving you the example. That's from like, because think of the state that you're in when you're in a jail cell versus when. So that's what the lifting of the head is that it's a change of scenery from a low estate to a higher estate, at least for a moment in time, because he still had to be in front of the Pharaoh for him to get killed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just a different result for the butler versus the baker. Go ahead.
Verse 22. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them.
Hanged. To be put to death by hanging. To hang, to be put on display. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph.
So the butler forgot about Joseph. He didn't hold up his end of the deal, right? Because Joseph wanted to get out of there ASAP. So the butler got back into his position, and what did he do? He didn't appreciate where he came from in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Where he came from that prison cell, got put back in the stewardship of the Pharaoh. He went back to being his old, prideful self, and he didn't regard Joseph at this point in time. Now, when it says he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted, what does that mean? That gives you the scenario without telling you. Birds were eating off of his flesh. That's how it was interpreted in the dream. That's how it happened. So it didn't say the whole bird part right here, but it's insinuating it because it's saying as Joseph interpreted. So you go to Joseph's interpretation where he describes what's going to happen. That's exactly what happened. So you got hanged up. And of course, it's a completely different scenario from what the butler had experienced, right? So sucks to be him. Now, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 41, and we're going to start at verse 1 in the Hebrew. And I want to get some of this because this is starting to get into a little bit more of dreams around this time. What was going on with Joseph and what was going on with the people around him in Egypt. So let's go ahead and go back to the Hebrew. We're going to go to Genesis 41 and start at verse 1. We're going to read the first 7 verses. Try to go a little quicker. We want to try to get another section after this.
The book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 1. Wayahaya,
Okay.
Makarataza,
Makarataza.
Shanatayam, Yamayam, Wapa Raiha, Halayam, Kalam, Waha Naha, Imad, Al, Hayahar, verse 2. Waha Naha Mayan
Man,
Mawa
man,
Mayon
man.
Man
Okay.
Haya Hayahar
Okay.
Wailat Wailat
Allah.
Wailat Shabbat
Shabbat.
Shabbat Parawata
Parawat.
Parawath
Oh, shoot. This is the
Ya Japo Japawath
okay.
Maraha
Okay.
Wa Baraya
Wabara Ya'ath.
Wa Bara
Ya'ath.
Yaath Bashar
Okay.
Watara
Watharai.
Watarai
Yana.
Yala
Watharayan.
Watarayan Ba
Lakau.
Bakau. Verse 3. Wahan Naha
Okay.
Sabbath
Shabbat.
Sabbath Parawta
Parawat.
Parawath Aharawath
Akha.
Akha Rawat
Alawat.
Parawat
Okay.
Aharai Aharayaham
Akariam.
Akariam
Karyan.
Karyum Ma
Man. I get.
Chayachara
PR.
Chayar Ra'aiwat
Raiwath.
Ra'awat Haracha
Marah.
Marah Wada Kawat
Wadakowa.
Wada Korah Bashar
Okay.
Wada Aima Daha
Wathai. Madana.
Wada Ai Mataha
Madana.
Atzal
Okay.
La Atzal
Arataza. Got it.
Aratzal Hapara What Haparwa Ala Shapath
Hmm.
Chayachar Verse 4 Wata'a Ka Laha Hapawar
Hold on, what? Haparawat.
Haparawat
Wa.
Ra'aiwath
Raiwath.
Ra'awat Hamurah Wadakwat
Wadakwa.
Wadakwat Habashar
Okay.
At
Mm-hmm.
Shabbat
Shabbat.
Shabbat Haparawat Yapat
Yapak.
Hamuracha Wahab Bara Yahab
Wahab. Bariyath. Bariyath.
Wahab Bariyath
Okay.
Waya Quas.
Waya Quataza.
Waya Quatza. Parai. Verse 5. Waya Shot. What?
Waya Yashan.
Waya Yasha. Waya Ham Laum.
Waya Kala. Waya
Waya
Kalam. Sorry.
Waya Kalam.
Waya Kalam.
Waya Kalam. Shanaya.
Shanaya.
Shanaya. Waka. Naha. Sabat. Shabbat. Layam. I. Lawat. Ba. Bakanaha.
Bakwana.
Bakana. Ahad.
Akat.
Akad. When it's got the little gap, is ha, right?
You used to do it?
No, I got it.
Mhm.
That's
Oh yeah,
Kahat.
yeah. Like these right here, see? That's
Yeah.
ha and that's ka.
Yeah, when it's together, it's cut.
Ka. Yeah, and then when it's separated, it's ha.
Akad.
Oh, baraya, awath.
Abaraya. Wa.
Baraya, awath.
Yeah. Waba.
What's a bawath?
What the Bawat.
Wait, my bad. Yeah, what's a bawath?
What's a Bawat?
Verse 6. Yeah.
Wahana. Waha.
Hold on.
Naha. Now here it's Shabaya. No, Shabai. Shabal. Shababalayim. Hakawa. Washa. The Wa. Hata. Padayam.
What? Okay.
Shama. Shamaka. Wata.
We good?
The last one after them?
Verse 7?
No, 6.
Oh.
The last part of 6.
Akaraya, how?
Aka.
Rayaham.
Rayaham. Verse 7. Wa. Wata. La. Ba. I.
What's a
Naha.
bow? Nah.
Wait, on this.
Kasha. Balayim.
Shabal, yum.
Shabalim.
Harakowath.
Harakwad. Wata. Sabat.
Shabbat.
Shabat.
Shabbat.
Shabai.
Oh.
Kasha. Bayam.
Yahashabalayam.
Yahashabalayam. Kaba. Raya, Hawa,
Habaraya.
Habaraya, Waha, Malawa,
Malawa.
Malawa, Wa'ai, Wayai, Wayai, Quataza,
Wayai Quataza.
Wayai, Quataza, Paraiha, Wahanaha, Halawam.
That's it. Back to the English.
All right. Now in the English.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river.
So 2 years took place after Joseph had told that butler, "Hey man, don't forget about me." Well, the butler forgot about him. You know what I'm saying? 2 years go by, so that means Joseph was in jail for another 2 years. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 2. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kin in fat flesh.
King is a cow, a heifer. Okay, so you got these cows crossing the river. Go ahead.
And fat fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. Verse 3. And behold, 7 of the kin came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed.
Ill-favored. So you got 7 other cows that ain't really nothing to look at, you know. Go ahead.
And lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kin upon the brink of the river.
Damn. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kin did eat up the 7 well-favored fat kin.
So he had a dream that these strong, you know, well-built cows, right? They walk across the river. They're in this meadow. They, you know, they chomping, they chilling. You know how cows do. They do that thing with their mouth. They go, right? And then they eating from the meadow because they just eat grass, right? Then you got these feral cows that come in, bones sticking out, ill-favored, meaning they may look like they got, you know, some kind of sickness or something like that. Almost like this is like a nightmare the Pharaoh is having, because cows don't eat meat, but these cows went and ate the other cows. And then read on.
So Pharaoh awoke.
So the dream. Imagine you waking up and a dream like that, bro. Cows don't do that. Can you imagine? I've never even that idea has never crossed my mind, right? Of a cow eating flesh, a carnivorous cow, dude, a heifer, so to speak. That'd be a heck of a movie, right? Can you imagine that? Killer cows getting revenge. Chick-fil-A would love that one. No, I'm telling you, because they always talk about eat more chicken, bro. Them cows, boys, let them get their day of vengeance. No, this cow right here, these cows right here, they went and ate the mother cow. In the dream, of course, it's not something that actually, you know what I mean? But it woke the Pharaoh up, man. It made him wake up. Dang, man, cows eating other cows. What kind of dream is this? I gotta do something about this. So look, what does Pharaoh say? Go ahead.
Verse 5. And he slept and dreamed the second dream, second time.
He didn't trip him. He didn't stay away. He went back to sleep. I'm like, all right, that was ridiculous. But I'm gonna just go ahead and sleep. So he had another dream. He slept and dreamed the second time. Go ahead.
And behold, 7 ears of corn came upon one stalk, ranked and good.
Right. I seen a flock of a field full of corn. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them.
So now he's just having, like, even corn is carnivorous, eating up other corn. And how the corn can't just get up and move, something has to help it move. So a wind came and took that corn went and chased after and what does it say? Sprung up after the other corn. Give me verse 7.
Verse 7. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears.
This This is a vision the Most High sent to Pharaoh. You know what I mean? Like a divine nightmare to scare the heck out of him. It was time for something to happen. The Most High's timing is perfect. You know what I'm saying? He's doing this because he started like the Most High is playing chess. But it's almost like he's playing chess, but he's actually both players at the same time because he's just trying to make this movie come together in the right way, this whole narrative. And so now is the time for the Pharaoh to need a dream to be interpreted, right? Well, there's only one person in the whole entire land that can do that, right? Well, we're going to have to keep reading to find out more about this. So now let's go back to the Hebrew. We're going to try to do this one. Do we have the time? You think? Yeah. Let's read it. Look, just try to get through it real quick. Let's get to verse 14. And I want to try to get to, let me just read it for 14.
Wayahaya,
Abakwa.
Babakwa, Wata, Pa, I'm, Rawa, Kawa, Wayasha, Laha, Lakwa,
Where's luck?
Wayasalak, Waya,
Kura.
Kora, Ata, Ka, Ha, Tam,
Ka.
Ka, Tam, Mam,
Kara.
Karatam,
Karatamaya.
Karatamayam,
Yeah. Karatamaya.
Tazarayim,
Ka.
Wa'ata,
Ka.
Ka, Ka, Kak, Kakwa, Mayaha,
Ka. Kamaya.
Mayasa,
Where's a park?
Wayasapa, Paraiha,
Wait. Para.
Para, Laham, Ada, Halawam,
Kala.
Ka, Mawam, Atayana, Wa,
Wayan.
Wayan, Pawa, Para,
Shh. Whoa.
Keep going.
Watam, La, Para, Paraya, was 9.
Where the bar?
Waya the bar, Shar, Hamasha,
On the shockwave.
Hamashakum, Da, Paraya, Laomar, Ada,
Ah.
Hat,
Kataya.
Kataaya,
Anaya.
Anaya, Mazakar, Raya,
Mazakaya.
Mazakajar,
Ayamon.
Ayam,
Ka.
was 10, Pyra, Wataza, Pa,
What's up?
Watazap, Ella, Ibado, Iwa,
Abidiyawa.
Abdiyawa, Ba, Yat,
Waitan.
Waitan, Aba,
Athia.
Ataya, Bamus,
Amoshaya. It's
Bamusya,
like Amoshamar.
Bamusmar, Kayam,
Atapakayim.
Fatapakayam,
Or, sorry.
Ataya,
Okay.
Wata, Shar, Yawam,
Apayum.
Payum. Verse 11, Wanaha,
Walakha.
Walaka, Nahama,
Kalawam.
Kalayam, Kalayam,
Malayam. Sorry. Ba. La. La. Alayala.
Wayalaya,
Alay.
Walayala,
Big.
Ahad,
Akad.
Akat,
Anaya.
Anaya, Wahayaka, Wahaya,
Wahawa.
Wahawa,
Ayash.
Ayar, Kapa, Tarawan,
Okay.
Halamawan,
Halama.
Halama, Halama, Hana,
Kalamanao.
Kalamnawa, it's 12. Washam, Atta, Wa,
Atanao. Sorry. Atanao.
Atanawa, Naira,
No.
Hmm.
No.
Nair, Ibarai, I Badaya,
iPod.
Bad, Lashra,
Lashar.
Shar, Ta, Pat, Yaham, Wanas, Para,
Wana. Sapar. Wana sapar.
Wanasapar, Flawai, Waya, Katara,
Wayapata.
Mayapata, Nanawa, Ata, Halamat,
It's like Ka. Lamathi now.
Kalamathina, Aisha,
Ayash.
Ayash, Ayash,
Kalamao.
Kalanawa, Pata,
Sorry.
Pata. Verse 13, Maya, Maya, Ashar,
Okay.
Qatar, Lanawa, Kawa,
Okay.
Khaya, Ataya, Hashayab, Ayla, Kanaya, Atwa,
Wathao.
Bayatao, Sala, Ka, Laha.
It's 14.
Verse 14. Wayasha, Wayasha,
Waishalak.
Washalak, Paraya, Waya, Paraa, Da, Yawasa, Yawasa, Wayasa,
Yawasap.
Yawasa,
It's like, wow.
Waya, Waya, Tza, Nawa, One. What?
Of a war.
Of a war. What? I Gala. Wayala Kala. Shamla the Wayal.
Oh yes. Shamalatayan. It's like Shamalatayawa.
Shamla the Yawa. Waya. Wa. Paria.
And that's it.
That was it.
That's my facts. Let's go back. Now we're on verse 8.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 8. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt.
Magician. Boy, that's crazy. Me being, of course, the teacher of the Hebrew class, I gotta see this. This word right here, magicians. Karatam, which means diviner, magician, teller, or that's why it says diviner, magician, astrologer. So I mean, that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with when you're talking about the horoscopes and all that goofy stuff, right? That what is a horoscope if not somebody trying to tell you about you are without knowing you, right? They saw that as magic back then. Astrologers, they try to predict the future based off of the stars and things like that, which is not our culture, right? So that's why the scripture even says that, that kind of stuff we're not supposed to be dealing with. I'm not going to pull that scripture right now, but that's what the Pharaoh summoned to try to understand this dream that he had. Go ahead.
And he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And Pharaoh told them his dream.
Yeah.
But there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh.
Right. So after all this, right, the Pharaoh is going to be upset because all these people failed him.
Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day.
Damn, this is heavy right here. He said, I remember he's like, damn, I messed up. I'm sorry, Pharaoh. Forgive me. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? Because he now is remembering Joseph 2 years later. Joseph told him to remember him because of what he was capable of, right? Could have been somebody else. He could have been out that prison. But now the butler's like, damn, I remember my fault this day. I messed up. I effed up. Because why? Because there was a deal that was, well, not necessarily a deal that was made, but there was something that he should have done a long time ago. Now read on.
Verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Verse 10. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants and put me in a ward in the captain of the guard's house.
Yeah.
Both me and the chief baker. Verse 11. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream.
Okay.
Verse 12. And there was there with us a young man in Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard.
Yeah. So basically now he's telling him about Joseph, a Hebrew. Go ahead.
And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream, he did interpret.
Yeah. So this was a man that proved himself not just once but twice in one sit down that he can interpret dreams. That's that's like his gift, his ability. And this man is in prison. This is a skill that nobody else has. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was.
Mhm.
Me he restored unto mine office,
Mhm.
and him he hanged.
On the tree. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon.
Yeah, they brought him hastily out of the dungeon because, I mean, it's like, what are you waiting for? Go get him. I need to know what's going on with this dream that I had, and nobody else has been able to tell me what it means. And why is that? And why are we not surprised? Because the other nations, they have all these different ways to try to, be fortune tellers, and you got the tarot card, the soothsayers, like the scripture talks about. People that go astrologers, they go to those things, but they're not based off of anything that's true. Just like how we talked about dreams and such, right? So we can't use them as a reliable source. We need something that's a reliable source, and that's only going to be found from a Hebrew. Okay, and so verse 14 again. Read that.
Verse 14. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm. So they got him ready because they couldn't just have him go in front of the Pharaoh the way he was in the prison. They had to get him what they could. In front of Pharaoh. You know what I mean? Now, whether that means he completely shaved himself bald and barefaced, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what he did, but it did basically shave, meaning trim a lot of that excess hair and stuff like that, and get all that matted clothes off of him so that they can, have him be somebody that could be earning his respect from the Pharaoh, right? So we're gonna find out about that in the next Sabbath service, about Joseph breaking down the Pharaoh's dream and the results of that. Okay, so with that, Amadim. Go ahead, blow.
Oh,
Sar, Wapanya Hakodam. We're gonna face the east. Now we're gonna finish with the Lord's Prayer in the ancient Hebrew.
Abinau,
Abinau,
Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Balafka,
Balafaka,
Taba'ah,
Taba'ah,
Batzazak,
Batzazaka,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Ba'aratasa,
Balaratasa,
Kabah,
Kawa,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Bashaman,
Bashaman,
Badalana,
Nathanael,
Bakam,
Lacham,
Kal,
Kal,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Osalakna,
Osalakno,
Kabawat,
Kabawathno,
Kasalakna,
Kasalakno,
Kabawathina,
Kabawathino,
Bala,
Bala,
Tabi'ayna,
Tabi'ayno,
Balasai 1,
Balasaya 1,
Abal,
Abal,
Aishan,
Habashayanawa,
Young,
Mayan,
Ra,
Rai,
Kaya,
Haya,
Laka,
Laka,
Kamalakwa,
Amalakwa,
Wahala,
Wahala,
Watapara,
Watatara.
Lamia,
I love you. Amen. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven,
Which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom
thy
come,
kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
Forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors,
as we forgive our debtors.
and lead us not
Lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory
and the glory
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
All right, that's Sar. We're going to turn the face to front. I was supposed to give him a drink before giving him the scroll. We'll do that when we put the scroll down. We're gonna go ahead and do salute the scroll right now. Yeah,
Ya başka bir yaşam yok ya.
Back. Is that straight, Fabian? Go ahead and say, scroll down. All right, now with that, we're going to turn and face the brothers from on courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Shah Brakatham, Yagi Matah, Sar. We're going to turn and face the sisters from on courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Shah, Yagi Matah. Dismiss.
What's this?